We continue our joint reading of the book The Philosopher's Stone by Henry T. Laurency. This is part 58. We started reading the subsection of esoteric cosmology, where we read the chapter about manifestation. 4 types of manifestation were identified. This is the first matter, in which the ancient Greeks called chaos. This is the first manifestation, that is, the area where the primordial atoms arise from the first matter, due to the first dynamic force, which is fixed in the first matter, and these primordial atoms themselves produce. This same area is called the first manifestation, that is, where the first of the first manifestations arises. Manifestation. Then there is the cosmic manifestation or cosmos, atomic matter, as it is allocated for it, and the solar system manifestation, where molecular matter is allocated. All these types of manifestations are characterized by the way matter manifests itself. And differentiated matter manifests itself as undivided matter. More precisely, there is no way, therefore. After all, if it is not differentiated, then it does not produce any changes or movement, and rests in its noble eternal immobility. The first manifestation is the product of an eternally blind force, a dynamic that constantly produces a huge number of primordial atoms in the first matter. This inexhaustible supply of primatoms is called the first manifestation. It is the reserve that can be used to obtain an unlimited number of units of matter, consciousness, and motion for any cosmic organization. Cosmic manifestation. Composed matter, atomic matter, already appears in the cosmic manifestation. When these primordial atoms are composed into various types of matter, the manifestation of matter, therefore, is different. Atomic matter provides a differentiation of how an aspect of matter can manifest. And the last type of manifestation that has been highlighted is the solar system, where molecular matter arises. The solar system manifestation is divided into 2. In itself, the solar system manifestation and the planetary manifestation. The concept of manifestation refers to the process when one or another process of formation of a material ball, in which there is a certain number of units of matter that are aimed at developing consciousness. When consciousness develops in them, the material sphere, therefore, is called the process of manifestation, or manifestation, if you use the word in English without searching for an analog in Russian. Then we got acquainted with what a 7-ball is. According to esoteric knowledge, the solar system is much larger than we can even imagine. Solar systems are not only those roughly physical forms that we can see, but also more voluminous spherical systems that include other immaterial spherical systems. For example, the smaller systems of manifestation that we see are just the same planets that the roughly physical eye of the organism can notice. This is the visible spectrum to the human body that is available. But it also stands out in the fact that there are higher types of manifestations or systems in which they are embedded. Each planetary system or planet that we see roughly with the physical eye has 6 more planets. And the 6 planets refer to the fact that these are other planets that we simply do not see. As a result, if we looked, and we approximately had the impression that there were 10 planets in our solar system, then, in fact, there would be 70 of them. Because that's exactly how many 7 balls would be active in every 49 balls right now. The concept of the 49 orb refers to a larger, authentic appearance. What is a planetary manifestation? The planetary manifestation is a system that contains 49 small balls, of which there are 7 balls, and in each 7 ball, there are 7 small balls. Balls in our usual sense, small balls, are the same as planets, which may have different material densities. For example, our ball, our planet Earth, on which we walk, move, and exist, is the ball 4 of the 4th of the 7 balls of our 49 ball, where we are on this particular ball. For one period of time, only one 7 ball is active in the 49 ball, and yet one of the balls of even 7 balls is more active than the other 6. Therefore, there is such a periodicity, as that the activity changes as the monads are transferred from one ball to another. Our planet Earth, as well as 6 other balls that coexist in one single system of manifestation, consist of a causal shell, which each ball has, also a mental shell, which each ball also has. And already starting with ball 2 and 6, if you number them according to the sequence of 7 balls. That is the ball, but number 2 and number 6 will have an emotional shell, balls number 3 and 5 will have an etheric shell, and our planet, ball 4, will have a roughly physical shell. All visible balls to the physical eye, therefore, are balls 4. The fourth balls, according to the number in the fourth 7 ball, the only possible 7 ball, and the only possible ball among all the balls inside the 7 ball, where they can be seen with the physical eye. The rest are simply inaccessible to the current vision. This requires a higher kind of objective consciousness. Then we got acquainted with the old ancient names that refer to the names of our 7 balls. Our planet Earth is just a tiny little thing that belongs to a larger system of manifestation, a planetary manifestation called the 49 ball. 49 ball, just every 7 ball after the small balls had its symbolic name. They can be briefly listed. The first 7 ball was called Neptune, the second 7 ball was called Venus, the third 7 ball was called Saturn. Our 7 ball, of course, is called the semishar of Earth or Terra, sometimes even so. The 7th ball of the 5th, which will go on the account, is Mercury. The 7th orb of the 6th will be Mars. And the 7th orb of the 7th will be Jupiter. Symbolic names were also chosen for the small balls inside our fourth 7 ball, that is, for the 7 balls of Terra. The first ball, small ball 1, will be a volcano, ball 2 will be Venus, ball 3 will be Saturn. Our ball is 4, which we already know, which for us is our Earth. Ball 5. I'm sorry, I got mixed up, it happens. Ball 3 is Mars, ball 5 is Mercury, and ball 6 is Saturn. And balloons. Everyone. This is Jupiter. These are ancient symbolic names which, as Lorenzo points out, were chosen in order to denote certain relationships. If some name of a planet that belongs to other systems is indicated, for example, when it comes to the fact that the ball 7 is called Jupiter, it does not mean at all that it really is Jupiter. This means that it correlates with an astrological force that has its own cycle and movement through this globular system. And now we begin to get acquainted with how involution and evolution occur in the 7 balls. The process of matter takes place in all spheres. The processes of involution and evolution occur mainly in one of the 7 balls of the 49 balls sequentially. Matter acquires in each 7 ball those qualities that the material composition of this very 7 ball intends to make possible. Thus, each 7 ball means a certain phase of development in evolutionary and evolutionary terms. Anyone who has understood the processes in semishars can draw a conclusion by analogy about the processes in other types of semishars. Then we will talk about the principles of the 7 balls, which relate to our fourth and third 7 balls, specifically about them. For clarity, in order to explain in more detail how these 7 balls look like, I will display the diagram again. Not really. Here is a system of 7 balls that belong to one single 49 ball. There are 7 of them. 7 balls to 149 balls. There are 7 small balls in each 7 ball. In total, 7 by 7 will be 49, so the general system of 7 balls with their family of small balls is called the 49 ball, so that it will be clear in the future. And the word, or more precisely, the number 49, does not refer exclusively to physical matter. Because there is a number 49, which is specialized, the accepted geological nomenclature denotes the physical world. And 49 here means 49 small balls. A 7 ball implies 7 small balls that are contained inside one of the 7 balls. If we imagine the process of development of a planetary system, then it passes through each of the 7 balls sequentially. Here is one 7 ball 2, 7 ball 3, 7 ball 4. All of them develop sequentially, not simultaneously at once, but each step by step and sequentially according to numbering. At first, 7 ball 1 is active, then 7 ball 2 is active, then 7 ball 3 is active, the fourth. Now, for example, as we have, then the 7 ball 5th will be active in the future, the 7 ball 6th and the 7 ball 7th. At the end, if the solar system still has a cycle of its existence, then the matter in all of these 7 balls is remelted. separated, so that the molecular matter that made them dissolves into atomic matter and is remelted under a new type that will be designed for a new cycle of the solar system. But if the solar system completes its development process after 49 balls, then they completely dissolve and are no longer needed as just the same manifestation systems. And so the 7 balls find their location in a larger system called the 49 ball. This is what the incarnation of a planetary ruler really looks like. When they think, for example, the ruler of our planet, they think that there is some kind of monad, a dominant, that controls our planet specifically. Yes, there is one. There is one specialized minor planetary ruler who controls only one of the 49 spheres, which is located in one 49 sphere, as the most unitary system of manifestation. But there is also one whole planetary ruler, which just covers all these 49 small spheres. And even more so, it expresses itself more clearly in one of the 7 balls, that is, its manifestation. It can be compared with the fact that the 49 ball is like an etheric shell, and this or that 7 ball, which is manifested at one time or another, is an organism that has become manifested in one way or another. The activity of the 7 spheres means that the planetary ruler or monad, who governs and is the highest stage of development, and controlling guiding leader, she therefore, embodied in one of the cosmic organisms, so to speak. This is clearly visible, for example, in Semishar 4. It best expresses the nature of the organism from the point of view of the law of analogy. That's it. I'm going to pause here. If you have something to add, ask. Thematic subjects that relate to the discussion. Okay, then we read on. The first ion was characterized by a general stabilization of newly formed types of matter, in combination with effective elementalization by means of special involutional vibrations. During this period of involution, the formation of etheric shells for typical species of organisms and other forms of life of the new system was prepared. I'm pausing the recording and displaying a diagram on which we can examine each one in more detail. Now you can see in detail. Here is the first one. The first one is elementalization. When Laurency spoke through special involutional vibrations, he of course, did not allow us to explain in more detail what exactly it was. And these are molecular energies that belong to the corresponding specialization of the animated ion energy. Each ion, as we have already read in previous chapters of the Philosopher's Stone, produces a revitalizing effect among the 7 types of matter in the solar system world. That is, there are 6 molecular worlds and 1 atomic one. So, 7 ions are designed to animate one type of matter for each 1 ion for a symmetrical separation of this matter. So, the first one begins with the activation and revival of the lowest kind of matter. That is, the solid aggregate state of this matter. In the physical world, that's 49.7. Well, these types of energy, therefore, were the most dominant. So these vibrations are the strongest. The cosmic energies we received came from worlds 42, 35, and 28. These are cosmic vibrations that are most closely related to the formation of matter. 2. It is clear that the reasons for the lower lie in the higher. This is the principle of esoteric knowledge. In particular, in the Hylozoica, this is detailed by the numerological correspondence of certain worlds, firm where the source of this or that energization and dynamics comes from. In other words, everything that comes from above, or certain phenomena that are associated with processes, always have their own source of energy above. So, these types of atomic energy 42, 35, 28 are the most suitable for stimulating the involutional specialized vibrations, which Lorenzo just mentioned, for neoplasms. The energies of the 7th division, which include the 42nd atomic species, the 35th, and the 28th, are the most suitable for gradually solidifying matter to arise in the semishar in order to form a more or less stabilized vibration. Energy that would allow the forms to be restrained, clear, and bonded. The 42nd atomic species, the 35th and 28th atomic species are the 7th atomic species, for their 7-fold series. That is, They are the seventh department on their sevenfold series. For this reason, they most clearly emphasize what the task of the elementalization ion was. That's why we see what the purpose of the elementalization ion was in principle. And we understand the source, therefore, of the energies that produced this revitalizing effect. Laurency, by the way, in the Philosopher's Stone in the future, these energies, specifically these atomic species, are also mentioned. All right. If there is anything to add, ask. Triad, and the mineral kingdom, and the vegetable, and the animal, just because of the energy of vibrations that come from the cause and center. The activated energies in the first triad, which have their source in the second, third triad, have a completely different nature. Because of this, there is such a strong strengthening of the human triad, and such a strong factor in terms of development, in all 7 balls within the semishar. Now you can output just the diagram. I'm going to pause now and output this diagram, where all these stages are shown sequentially. Here we have just the same first stage. What I described is generally divided into only 4 stages, but I added all 10 stages, because our balloon, for example, was filled in 10 stages. It was described that first the mineral triads that came to us in our 7 ball, after that previous lunar 7. 7 ball 3 began to empty, its matter began to transfer. After it was rescheduled, it had to be the first one and him. Now we will talk about the second ion, when the settlement process began, when the triads began to be transferred. And now we are talking about the fact that the first stage falls on the first stage of the settlement of triads, on the second union of our semishar. So, this is the first stage, mineral triads. They were listed on ball 1. Our ball alone is considered a mental ball. It has 2 shells, mental and causal. Mineral triads are also involved in the general group mental shell. In the general group mental shell, this means that a lot of those or other first triads that belong to the mineral monads, that are centered in them, they are centered specifically by the physical mats of the first triad. They are in a common group shell, which is formed by the Virgo monada. And what is the purpose? What purpose exactly is not clear. It's just a fact that they are being helped in some way for development. Singly, the first triads spend a certain period of time. Then, after a period of time, plant triads appear. And here's what's happening that's interesting. What happens is that a number of monadas, mineral monadas, which were inhabited by the first ball, which, as it were, had time, which were able to move to a higher natural kingdom, both plant monads appear in them, and at the same time plant triads that were from the previous 7 balls, which did not complete their development process, are filled in. And the first ball already consists not only of mineral triads, but of plant triads. When I say mineral, vegetable, and other triads, I will mean just these structures, where mineral, vegetable, and animal monads are already involved. That's exactly what these triads are in ball 1. Its called was just about that wave of life. Ball 2 has already been moved to other triads. This is the second stage, when plant triads appear. It is called the second stage, the plant triads, when they begin to populate our 7 ball, the fourth. Then something else is produced. The animals of the triad appear. They again fall into the very first ball of our 7 ball, that is, it starts with ball 1. Here they occupy their position near the mineral triads and plant triads. At the same time, ball 2 is filled with plant triads, that is, 2 types of triads appear together with ball 2 and C, next to the mineral triads. That is, the mineral natural kingdom and the vegetable natural kingdom. Also, ball 3 fills up and begins to be populated with mineral triads. This is a similar situation that was between ball 1 and 2 in the second stage, when the process of the emergence and appearance of plants took place. Only now it has been displaced by the fact that now it is not ball 1, but ball 2. And the ball is already 2 in which there were mineral triads. Then it has already become ball 3. And ball 1 is now being filled with both mineral triads, animal triads, and plant triads. That is, it can be seen, yes, how gradually the displacement occurs, and at the same time, the gradual settlement of each of the balls. Finally, the one in question was the final 4th stage, which was described in principle in the Philosopher's Stone. Oh, I'm sorry, for some reason the 4th stage. Here, in the 4th stage, I have depicted the human triad inside the causal shell to emphasize the peculiarity of this triad. because it is clear that the human monad is not involved in group shells. And here it is clear that the process has occurred. Now the animals of the triad, as in the previous example, were not only in ball 1, but now they have moved to ball 2. In principle, it was the process of such settlement. Ball 3 was already populated by plant triads, as was shown in the previous stage, when animal triads appeared. And the ball 4, finally the ball 4 reaches the mineral triads. That is, the mineral triads have finally reached ball 4, and after a period of time, when 7 root times will be passed in ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, finally our planet will have time to somehow achieve a certain degree of physicalization, so that it will be suitable for the development of human triads and animal triads that will come with him. These were the stages that Laurency described. There are additional stages that accompany the complete filling of the entire 7 ball with all 4 types of the first triad. And it is clear that the 4th stage is the beginning of just the same human triad. And it will be shown that further human triads will be like a new ark, that is, relatively speaking. Human monads with their first triads will be like a master who leads dogs and cats on a leash with him for a walk. As rude as it may sound, but nevertheless, it really can be applied as the best analogy. And it is clear that the 4th stage, the 4th line of evolution, has a certain numerological correspondence. Therefore, it starts with a 4, and just the 4th stage falls on the 4th kind of the first triad. In other words, there are 4 natural kingdoms in total for one first triad. Accordingly, everything converges numerologically. The 5th stage is the human triads, the 2nd stage. Now the human monads are filling ball 2, and at the same time, the animal triads have moved ball 3. And ball 4 is filled with plant triads. Why is ball 5 not filled with mineral triads, as it would seem to be the original logic? Because this is already an evolution that requires help from the human triad, which should appear. They can no longer move without help, because they are automatically 3 natural kingdoms, and also by example, as there is a 3 among the 7, which is closer to the involution. In this connection, both the vegetable, animal, and mineral triads that will be in the ball 4, they will not be able to rise. Without the help of the human triads, that is, the 4th natural kingdom. They will need the help of that stimulating energy that will help them to move just the same. Therefore, from stage 5 to stage, as you might guess, the 7th, it will not be possible for all 3 trias to move to the sphere 5 properly before the human natural kingdoms. The next stage, the 6th stage, is the human triads. They have already moved in that human triads have appeared here. Here, where it is indicated that ball 2 and ball 1, and here it is indicated that there are these triads. It means that there is no more activity there. That's where the last human detachments are now. That's where the greatest activity is happening now. By numbering. Here we count 1 ball, here the human triads in the causal shell are included. The 2nd sphere of the causal shell includes human triads with 3 other types of triads for the 3 subhuman natural kingdoms. This means that now they are no longer active, and now the activity falls on the 3rd ball. And the 4th balloon has already been prepared that there are animal triads with mineral plant triads. Finally, the 7th stage. Human triads number 4. Again, there is a numerological correspondence. For the 7th stage, just the same processes occur when human triads reach their location specifically in. For some reason, I didn't portray the type here. Strange. Well, in general, human triads should be depicted here, along with just the same mineral animals and plant monads in ball 4. That is, they have already reached here. The human triads at stage 4 correspond numerologically to the human line of evolution, and the 4th kind of triads among the 4 natural kingdoms that belong to the first triad. That's it. Then there is the human triad number 5, the 8th stage. And now it's finally possible to move to ball 5. Finally, the human triads allow both plant, mineral, and animal triads to move into the ball 5, so that they can travel further and fill the balls of the 7 ball. And I remind you, this all falls only on the 2nd ion, that is, this is how our 7 ball was filled in the 2nd ion. Then, the 9th stage, human triads are already number 6. They are already filling the ball 6 in our semishar, and took it with them again. And you can see, so the ball is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, they are not active now. So the wave of life is on ball 6, because it was there, as in the ladder, that the human triads turned out to be. This is the largest number of manads, which belongs to the mineral, animal, and vegetable kingdom, which manages according to the general cycle, those who did not have time, who are now in the ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they also have human monads there, which did not have time to develop according to the general cycle, and therefore remained there. To go back to them, and everything will be solved with them. The 10th stage is the last one in terms of filling the semishar. As can be seen, human triads number 7, that is, the number 7 refers to the 7 principles of man, and the 10th stage symbolizes completeness in principle. Therefore, it can be seen that the process of filling the 7 balls is tenfold, and the human triads have just finally filled the 7th ball of the 7 balls. Consequently, finally, on all the balls of our 7 ball, and, in principle, in all the balls with all kinds of the first 3, 4 kinds of 3 are filled as such, up to the human 3 natural kingdoms and the human natural kingdom. That's it. In the future, the process will simply be accompanied by the fact that a cycle will be produced. Human triads together with certain mineral, plant, and animal triads will move according to the general cycle of evolution. That's it. If anything, let's ask. I would like to clarify. We continue our joint reading of the book The Philosopher's Stone by Laurency. This is part 59th. In the previous part, we got acquainted with how the development process takes place in semishars. 7 ions were described. 7 ions are 7 big cycles. Laurency mentions, and it is also mentioned in the Giochi principle, that planetary hierarchies and higher stage monads calculate time by ions, because according to their consciousness and the perception of reality that they possess, they see very stretched and large periods of time, long sprawling cause and effect relationships that can cover the whole system manifestations. Therefore, it is convenient for them to use ion raising. Ion in Geozoic is synonymous with what is used in Eastern cosmology and what we have there in the structure and processes. Like Kalpa, that is, the day of Brahma. A Kalpa is equal to 1,000 Mahayugas. The Mahayugas are 4,320,000 years old. Multiplied by 1,000, they get 4,320,000,000 years. 1, and he is how the monads successively pass from ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, ball 4, ball 5, ball 6, and Manvantara. Even the Manvantara of the atom. This is a period of activity. His period of passivity means that he is now dissolved at this moment in time. When, for example, the 7 ball 3 was dissolved, that is, the lunar chain with its matter, which filled all the balls, was dissolved, then it passed the stage of lie. But our Samisha was preparing to enter the state of Banvantara. When the human triads, and together with other triads before the human kingdoms, were transferred to our 7 ball, then this is technically the official beginning of Manvantara. Although from the point of view of the period, one has already passed, and it has already been going on since the moment matter was transferred to our semishar. That's it. If you add it to someone, ask. All right, let's move on to the next chapter. 3 types of solar system. Of the 1049 globes of the solar system, 3 are large and 7 are smaller. The 3 big ones prepare for evolution, in the smaller ones, collect the results of evolution, and send newly formed collective beings. Evolution specializes in 7 smaller balls. When the evolution in the latter is completed, the harvest is collected in 3 large balls. Following this, the 7 smaller balls undergo a melting down of their physical, emotional, and mental matter. When they reach the habitable stage again, the distribution and specialization of evolution begins again. Then 3 large balls are melted. This procedure is repeated 2 more times resulting in the formation of 3 different types of solar system. After that, the entire solar system dissolves, and the laggards are transferred to other solar systems. So, we got acquainted with the fundamental esoteric teaching about the periods of activity and passivity of the solar system itself. Now I'm going to output a diagram that will make it easier to imagine this process. The diagram shows 3 large periods of the solar system. When, for example, we read in Alice Bailey's books or any other works that the solar system we have is the first solar system, the second, the third, or the last, in the next solar system, it is as if we are talking about the fact that the entire solar system is completely dissolved and the solar system ball is destroyed. But it's not. It's not like that. This means that the solar system itself undergoes such stages within itself. That is, the solar system ball during periods of passivity between the transition, for example, of the first period to the second period is accompanied by the fact that it still exists, but its matter in certain worlds is melted down, that is, it is remade. Molecular matter is being reformed, re-evaluated. They are specialized for the next period, in which certain cosmic vibrations will work, allowing to revive certain qualities in life, in the monad, which will develop in their shells. If we look at them now and get acquainted with them, 3 large 49 balls prepare the evolution in 7 smaller 49 balls. Here, in the first solar system, as described in Cosmic Intelligence, they were not 3 large 49 balls, but there were 3 simply smaller 49 balls and 7 smaller 49 balls. Only in our solar system have they begun to fulfill their role of elder brothers in the sense that we can talk about it now. They were fully formed only in the first solar system, in the Sun. Here you can see the Sun, the light is green, there are 46 in the world. This period of the solar system is considered the period of the aspect of matter, and it is also called the green period, for the reason that the Sun in the essential world, specifically the essential shell of our Sun from the 46th matter, glows green, because it most vividly illustrates the energy of the third department, the energy of energy. The energy aspect of matter, I apologize for this tautology. In general, here there are 7 smaller 49 balls, they had their own evolution, a certain number of manets that made them up. Yes, they have developed. There, on each of the 49 spheres, there was its own evolution in each semishar. They've completed everything. A huge number of manets that existed in these 49 balls were transferred to the big 49 balls, they are these. This 49 ball, which is depicted here in red, this one in blue, the other in green, is called esoterically like Uranus, Neptune, and the esoteric Saturn. These are the 3 big 49 balls that take evolution into the smaller 49 balls. These are specialized terms just for them. They absorb and collect those monads that were able to successfully complete their task and develop into smaller 49 balls. They prepare their collective evolutionary beings. In other words, the monads that belong to the 5th or 6th natural kingdoms are assigned specialized development in these 49 spheres. And here they develop. Moreover, these 49 orbs do not exist in the lower solar system worlds. That is, these 49 balls, they are not in the lower solar system worlds, they are in the higher solar system worlds. And in them, specifically, there is a development in higher types of matter. That is, the lower ones, the world that the 49 ball of this esoteric Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus penetrates is causal matter. Plus, during this period of time, remelting is carried out here. As you can see, there are no 49 balls depicted here, for the reason that they are all undergoing reformation. They're just retraining. The atomic shell of the 49 balls itself remains unchanged, of course, but the internal contents are ground like nuts. Nuts are crushed in a nut press, or, for example, like coffee beans inside a coffee grinder. Inside the coffee grinder, coffee beans are crushed so that they turn back into flour, and then reformed. It can be imagined as the same as in the period of manifestation, when the next big period of the solar system comes. Moisture is added and it's flour or this. As we understand it, I'll tell you now. When this turns out, the dust begins to bond with a large amount of moisture addition. In a similar way, new molecular matter appears again in the smaller 49 balls. The period is already blue here. The monads that will have to evolve are transferred from here to here. If the monads manage to develop in the first solar system, in the green period, or in the solar system of the aspect of matter, they all pass to the solar system of the second degree. Those monads that were in one natural kingdom, or in the first triad, are transferred here, and if they have achieved a certain success, they get to here. For the most part, the task of the solar system of the first degree was involution. Due to the fact that a huge number of involutional matter was able to develop, there is such a large number of monadas of the evolutionary stage in the current solar system. The solar system of the second degree, or the blue period, is dedicated to a specialized aspect of consciousness and works, so that the monads can move to the worlds of the second triad, that is, to the 46th, 45th worlds. 3 large 49 balls are being melted down for a new stage of harvesting the synthesis of collective beings. That is, they are retraining. These 49 balls, which appeared during the period of passivity between the first and second solar systems, they go through their grinding of coffee beans inside their coffee grinder, and as a result, a new type is formed, with 3 large 49 balls. But this does not mean that they disappear. It does not mean that they are, as it were. They simply don't exist. As it was said, their content is being redone. And now we need to develop. Right now we are specifically, as human monads, developing in one of these smaller 49 balls. Thanks to this, we will develop at some point. Unfortunately, I myself do not know what type of 49 balls we belong to. My 4th type, my 6th type, my 5th type, or the 7th, I do not know. At this stage, I am not aware of this information yet. I have not been able to find it about this given. We are in one of these smaller 49 balls in ball 4. It's either this, or this, or this. But maybe it's written down somewhere, but I just didn't find out about it. Then another larger period passes. This is where the solar system is preparing for the 3rd stage. Again, the monads who were able to activate consciousness in the second triad, that is, more precisely, the monads of the human line of evolution and the Virgo monads were able to develop to Virgo monad. In the worlds 45 and 46 and other lines of evolution, they are transferred to the 3 big 49 balls. And the lower 7 small balls of 49 balls to the remelting process takes place. Collective beings are being prepared again. They are going through a process of mutual expansion, synthesis, in order to make up potential planetary hierarchies that will make up for the last solar system. It is not known for sure whether our solar system will actually retain 7 smaller 49 balls, because it is described that solar systems of the 3rd degree may not form planetary manifestations at all. Probably, they can and do not form them, using only then common monocentric shells, which account for all 42 molecular types of matter that exist uniformly throughout the solar system. They are specialized somewhere in some area. There is a planetary ball in which monads develop. So it may be that there are none at all, these 49 balls. We have not been notified yet, because this knowledge about the red period of the solar system, that is, in the solar system, the aspect of will remains esoteric. But a lot of data is given to us too, so that we just have the big picture. And then, the last period of time is already happening, which implies the automation of all matter that is lower than manifest matter, which is called manifestalization. And in it, it all dissolves. All systems of manifestation, all molecular measures are successively dissolved. From physical to higher. That's it. If you have something, let's ask. We continue our joint reading of the book The Philosopher's Stone.